My child, do not move past this moment. Before your hand decides this is ordinary, before the part of you that has learned to expect nothing stops you from receiving something real, I need you to stay exactly where you are. Not because you stumbled here by accident, not because this moment arrived without design, but because long before you opened your eyes this morning, long before you reached this exact second of this exact day, I had already prepared what I am about to say to you. You did not find this. I placed it in your path. I know how heavy the last season has been. I know you have been moving through your days carrying something inside you that you could not fully explain to anyone. Something that did not have a clean name. Something that sat quietly beneath every conversation you had and every smile you offered to the world. I know that somewhere between where you were and where you are now, a part of you grew quieter than it used to be. And I want you to understand before anything else that I have seen every moment of that silence. This is not a message for the person who has everything arranged and simply wants encouragement on a peaceful afternoon. This is a message for the one carrying things in private that they could not put down and did not know how to explain. For the one asking questions in the dark that they were afraid to speak aloud in the light. For the one who is tired in a way that rest has not been able to touch. If that is you, do not leave this moment. Stay here, because what I have placed before you is arranged for the exact condition of your heart right now. Not for the version of you that others see, but for the version of you that you live with when every door is closed and every voice around you has finally gone still. I stopped you here for a reason. Where I stop someone, nothing is casual. Where I speak, everything is intentional. And today, I am speaking directly to you. Stay until the end of what I have prepared, because the last part of what I will tell you carries something about your current season that your heart has been searching to understand. Not every answer is found at the beginning. Some truths must be received slowly, because the heart only absorbs fully what it remains present long enough to hold. Remain here, because before this moment ends, something inside you is going to settle in a way it has not settled in a long time. There are things I watched you carry this year that no one around you ever fully saw. There were mornings when you woke and the weight was already there before you had done anything to deserve it. Before the day had given you any reason to feel heavy, the heaviness was already present. You lay there wondering if something was wrong with you, wondering why what others seemed to carry easily felt so much harder inside you. You got up anyway. You kept moving. But I watched what it cost you to do that. And I want you to know, I did not miss a single morning. I saw the nights when your thoughts would not quiet themselves, even though everything around you had gone still, even though the house was peaceful and the world outside had stopped. Inside your mind, the conversations continued. The questions returned. The weight pressed harder against you in the silence than it ever did during the noise of the day. There were nights when you turned and turned again, and the clock moved forward while rest refused to arrive. In those hours when no one knew you were awake, when no one knew what was moving through you, I was there, present in every one of those dark and quiet hours. I saw the times you held yourself together in front of people who needed you to be strong. Moments when your own heart was breaking quietly while you spoke words of comfort to someone else. Moments when your voice remained steady and your face remained calm, while something inside you was asking desperately to be held. You carried that, you kept functioning, and no one around you ever knew the full distance between how you appeared and how you actually felt. I know what it is to watch you smile when you are not fine. Not the dishonest kind of smile, but the kind people offer when explaining the truth feels too complicated. When they do not want to burden anyone further, when they have already tried to speak and felt unseen, and so silence became safer. I saw every one of those moments. I understood every one of those silences. I saw the days when everything looked ordinary from the outside, but something inside you was carrying the accumulated weight of 100 small griefs that had never fully been given space to breathe. The kind of weight that does not arrive all at once, but gathers slowly, quietly, until one ordinary Tuesday feels heavier than it has any visible reason to be. I saw the disappointments you did not speak about because you had already been disappointed before, and did not want to be seen as someone who could not move forward. There were things you hoped for quietly, things you arranged your expectation around, and when they did not arrive, you absorbed the weight of that alone. I saw the place inside you where that door closed and left a question that has not fully resolved itself yet. I saw the relationships that changed without warning, the people who grew distant without explanation, the connections that seemed certain and then quietly unraveled, until you found yourself wondering what you had done wrong, carrying responsibility for things that were never yours to carry. I saw the prayers you sent up in the deep hours of the night. Not the polished prayers that felt acceptable to speak aloud, but the raw ones, the desperate ones, the ones that came out of moments so private and so fragile that even your own mind questioned whether they had been received. I received every one of them. Not one word you ever directed toward me was lost or left unheard. Type I am seen in the comments right now, because you were never in any of those moments alone. Not once. Not even in the ones that felt most isolating. I know the specific kind of tired you have been carrying, not the tired that a full night of sleep restores, not the tired that a quiet weekend repairs, the other kind, the kind that lives in deeper places, the kind that arrives before the day has placed any demands on you. That kind of tired has to do with how much the soul has been carrying without adequate rest or resolution. That kind of tired is not weakness. It is the honest evidence of someone who has been giving more than they have been receiving, carrying more than others realize, enduring more quietly than the world around them could see. Your exhaustion has not gone unwitnessed. Your endurance has not gone unnoticed. The silent effort of continuing to move forward when every part of you wanted to stop has been seen by me in every single moment it has been happening. And because I have seen all of it, I could not allow another day to pass without speaking to you directly. Before you arrived in this world, before the first breath ever entered your body, before any human voice ever spoke your name into the air of this earth, I already knew you completely. Not in the way people come to know one another gradually, through conversation and accumulated time, but in a way that came before all of that. Before your story began here, I already held the whole of it. Before your first chapter opened on this earth, every page was already known to me. You did not become real when people first noticed you. You did not acquire worth when someone first decided to love you. You did not begin to matter at the moment the world acknowledged your arrival. Because before any of that happened, before earth had any language for your presence, heaven had already carried the full record of who you were. I knew you before the womb held you. Before time gave your life a starting point. Before your family had names for what you would become. Before any teacher decided what they believed about your potential. Before any relationship began shaping how you understood yourself. Before any wound taught you to be careful with who you trusted. Before rejection introduced you to the instinct of self-protection. Before all of that, I knew you. And what I knew, I loved without condition, without reservation, without waiting to see how you would turn out. This is the foundation beneath every other truth I will speak to you today. Your identity did not begin with the people who raised you. Your value was not established by the relationships that shaped your earliest understanding of yourself. Your worth was not created by how you have been received, praised, accepted, or turned away. The foundation was laid before any of that reached you, before family, before success or failure had any say in the matter. Before disappointment ever learned your name, I placed something in you that did not depend on whether others recognized what they were standing in the presence of. I wove into the fabric of who you are a capacity for depth that would sometimes confuse even you. A sensitivity that would feel like a burden in the seasons before you understood it was a gift. A way of experiencing the world that would make you feel alone in rooms full of people, until you understood that you were not made for shallow waters. The way you feel things in places others do not seem to reach. The way silence sometimes speaks, louder inside you than all the conversation around you. The way you notice what is unspoken as clearly as what is said. The way compassion rises in you even when it exhausts you. None of that is accidental. None of that is excessive. Every part of how I made you was made deliberately with a purpose that is still unfolding, in directions you have not yet had the chance to fully see. Before pain ever introduced itself to your life, I knew what would try to touch you. And still, I chose your life with love. Before disappointment ever taught you to lower your expectation. Before betrayal taught you that trust has a cost. Before loneliness made its particular kind of quiet familiar to you. Before any closed door made you question your own direction. Before any silence from someone important made you wonder whether you truly mattered. Before all of that, your worth was already written. The decision about your value had already been made. And this is why nothing that came later has the authority to define you more deeply than what I declared before pain ever knew your address. The wounds can explain certain fears. The hard seasons can explain why certain places inside you grew protective and quiet. The disappointments can explain why hope sometimes feels dangerous to you now. But none of those explanations own your identity. None of them have the right to write the final word about who you are. What I wrote first stands. What I spoke over you before time was old enough to carry your name that remains unchanged, untouched by every shadow that has passed through your life since, unmoved by every season of confusion and unanswered question. Your name is held in a place no darkness has ever been able to reach, and it will remain there unchanged, exactly as I first intended it. You are not who your hardest season made you. You are not the sum of what has gone wrong. You are not defined by what was lost, what closed, what ended, or what failed to arrive. You are what I spoke into existence before any of those chapters were written, and that original declaration has not been edited by a single thing that happened afterward. Now I want to speak to you about the season you are currently inside, because there are things about it that have confused you, and I will not allow that confusion to continue unchallenged. You have felt something shifting recently that you could not name, something that has made ordinary days feel heavier than they should. Something that has made familiar things feel less comforting than they once were. Something that has made your thoughts move in ways that do not always correspond to what is visibly happening around you. There have been mornings in this season when you woke and could not explain why your spirit already felt tired before anything had happened. Before the day presented any difficulty, before anyone said anything that should have disturbed you, the heaviness was simply already present, as though your soul had been carrying something through the night that your waking mind had not been informed about. There have been moments when nothing around you looked wrong, and yet something within you felt profoundly unsettled, as though something was moving beneath the surface of your life that you could sense but could not see. I want to speak plainly into that confusion right now. What you are feeling is not a malfunction. What you are experiencing is not evidence of weakness or failure. The heaviness that has settled over this season is not punishment for anything you have done or left undone. Consider a seed buried deep in the ground through the coldest months of winter. From above the surface, there is nothing to see, nothing to prove that anything is still alive, nothing to suggest that something is preparing to break through. But beneath the soil, in the dark and in the pressure and in the cold, everything necessary is happening. The very breaking open that looks like an ending is the beginning of everything that will come next. That is where you are right now. Not abandoned in the dark, being prepared within it. What you are feeling is the interior awareness of transition. Your soul has begun to sense that one season is loosening its grip while another has not yet made itself fully visible. And the space between what is ending and what has not yet arrived is the most disorienting place a heart can be asked to occupy. The weight comes before the explanation. The heaviness arrives before the understanding. The restlessness begins before the direction becomes clear. This is not a sign that nothing is happening. It is often the most accurate sign that something significant is happening beneath the surface, in places that are not yet ready to be seen. I allow certain comforts to lose their power in these seasons, not because I want you to suffer, but because there are things I am preparing to place in your hands that require a deeper capacity than where you currently are. Capacity is not expanded by comfort. It is expanded by the kind of quiet pressure that forces the heart to reach for something more substantial than it has been resting on. The familiar things that used to quiet you are not quieting you now, because I am moving you towards something they were never designed to hold. The places that used to feel safe enough are beginning to feel too small, because I am enlarging what your life is designed to contain. This restlessness is not a problem to be solved. It is a signal to be understood. Something inside you already knows that where you have been is not where you are going. Something inside you already senses that what has defined this chapter is not what will define the next one. And that knowing is arriving before the evidence is fully visible, because I speak to the spirit before I move in the natural. Your spirit has already begun to hear what your circumstances have not yet had time to confirm. Do not mistake the discomfort of expansion for the pain of loss. Do not interpret the pressure of preparation as the weight of punishment. Do not allow the silence of this transition to convince you that nothing is moving. Silence, in a season like this, is where I do my most careful and most consequential work. I have not been absent from your life during these quiet months. I have been most present in them. Every moment that felt empty was a moment I was filling with something you could not yet perceive. Every door that closed was a door I was repositioning you to approach from an angle that will make what opens matter far more than the waiting could have. I have not been slow, I have been thorough. I have been working in places you could not see, arranging what you could not arrange, making room for what is actually meant to be in your life. My child, I have not changed my mind about you. I want you to feel the full weight of that sentence, because there are lies that have been settling into the corners of your thinking over this last season. Quiet lies that arrived without announcement and made themselves comfortable in the spaces where your doubts already lived. Lies that told you the silence meant I had moved on. Lies that told you the waiting meant I had grown tired of your questions. Lies that suggested the delays were evidence of a verdict against you, rather than a preparation being made on your behalf. I have not changed my mind, not about your worth, not about your purpose, not about what I intended when I first spoke your name into existence, not about the plans I formed for your life before the first difficulty ever taught you to be afraid. Weakness has never been a reason for me to withdraw. Failure has never caused me to revise the value I placed in you from the beginning. Your hardest seasons have not made me reconsider the investment I have made in your life. I do not abandon what I create when what I created encounters difficulty. I remain closest in the moments when what I created is most in need of being reminded of its foundation. I have never grown tired of your questions. I have never counted your confusion against you. I have never found your tears excessive or your pain unreasonable. I have never looked at the private landscape of your struggle and found you lacking. I have looked at everything you have been carrying and found you faithful, in ways you have not given yourself credit for. Because continuing to get up when everything inside you wanted to stay down is faithfulness. Choosing to hope again, after hope has been disappointed before, is faithfulness. Deciding to trust a process you cannot fully see, in a season that does not feel like progress, is one of the most profound forms of faith that exists. And I have watched you exercise it in moments when you did not even recognize what you were doing. You have been more faithful than you know, stronger than you have allowed yourself to believe, more seen, more held, more accompanied through every moment of this season than the silence around you has been adequate to communicate. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not diminished by what has been hard. You are not defined by what has not yet arrived. You are not the sum of what has disappointed you, wounded you, delayed you, or confused you. You are mine still, completely without revision, and I am not finished with what I began in you. The chapters still ahead carry more than the ones already past. The things I am moving toward you in this season are greater than what left. The doors being prepared carry more meaning than the ones that closed. The life still unfolding in front of you holds more of what you were designed for than any chapter of your story that has already been written. I do not tell you this to offer comfort that costs nothing. I tell you this as the one who holds the beginning and the ending of your story in the same hand, the one who can see what you cannot yet see from where you are standing, and who is telling you, with the same certainty that existed before your first breath, that the best of what I have written for your life has not yet arrived. Do not close yourself to it. Do not allow the accumulated weight of what has been hard to convince you to stop expecting what is good. Do not let the length of the waiting season persuade you that what you have been waiting for no longer intends to arrive. Because your story is not finished, your purpose has not expired, and the intention I first spoke over your life has not grown old, has not changed its mind, and has not stopped moving toward its completion in you. Now I want to ask you something, and I want you to stay with it long enough for it to reach the place it is meant to reach. When was the last time you allowed yourself to receive instead of only giving? When was the last time you let something good find you without immediately questioning whether you deserved it? Without beginning to prepare for the moment it would be taken away, without holding it at a careful distance, in case trusting it fully turned out to be a mistake. I ask because there is a guarding that has been happening inside you. A careful management of how much you allow in, a protective instinct that developed in seasons when openness cost you something, and that has remained into seasons where it is no longer serving you the way it once did. You learn to hold things loosely, because holding them tightly produced pain when they were removed. You learn to expect less, because the space between what you expected and what arrived had been too wide too many times. I understand why that guarding developed. I was present for every moment that taught you it was necessary. I saw every instance where your openness was treated carelessly, and I never judged you for the protection it produced. But hear this clearly. The guarding that protected you in the past is not designed to carry you into what I have prepared for your future. What shielded you in one season can become what limits you in the next. And I would not be loving you well if I allowed you to remain behind a protection that has already served its purpose, without telling you that a different season has begun. You were not made for a small, carefully managed, heavily guarded life. You were not designed for a version of living that keeps all potential joy at arm's length, in order to keep all potential pain at a similar distance. You were made for something that reflects the full intention I spoke over you before time ever had your name. Something that requires your whole heart to be present for it. Something that needs the depth I placed in you to be fully active, rather than carefully contained. I am calling you back to yourself. Not the version shaped by everything that tried to diminish you. Not the version shaped by rejection and confusion and unanswered questions. But the version I first spoke into existence. The one I knew before the womb. The one whose worth was decided before pain had any say in the matter. That version of you is still here. It has never left. It has been present underneath every layer that difficulty placed on top of it, waiting for the voice of the one who knew it first to speak directly and say, "It is safe now. It is safe to come back. It is safe to hope with your full heart. It is safe to receive what I have been preparing, because what I prepare, I complete." Come back to the foundation. Come back to the knowledge that you are known by the one who has never been wrong about you, loved by the one who decided your worth before any person had the opportunity to define it, held by the one who was present in every moment you thought you were alone, carried by the one who is not finished with what was begun in you. If this word has reached something real inside you today, if something in these words has touched a place that needed to be touched, I want you to type, "I am not forgotten," in the comments. Not as a formality, but as a genuine act of receiving what I have placed before you. As a quiet acknowledgement between you and me that something in this moment reached you. This is not a moment to pass through quickly. This is a moment to stay inside of long enough for it to do what I sent it to do. Long enough for something to settle in you that has been unsettled for longer than you should have been asked to carry it. Long enough for the answer your heart has been quietly searching for to finally find the place it has been looking for. Carry this with you when you leave this moment, not as information, but as a foundation. When the noise of the coming days grows loud again, return to this. Return to the knowledge that you were known before the womb and loved before the wound. Return to the certainty that this season is not the end of what I intended for your life. Return to the truth that I have not been silent because I am absent, but because I have been working in the silence in ways not yet fully visible, but nonetheless fully real. If you wish to receive the next word I have prepared, remain in this place. Let it find you again when you need it. Stay close, because what I have for your heart does not end here. You are not an accident, not your depth, not your sensitivity, not your capacity for love that sometimes exhausts you, not your ability to feel what others walk past without noticing, not even the parts of yourself you have not yet found language for. Every part of who you are was formed with attention and intention by the one who knows you most completely, loves you most consistently, and has never once, not for a single breath of a single ordinary moment, taken his presence away from your life. My child, you are not forgotten, not in the longest night, not in the most silent waiting, not in the most confusing season, not in the moment when forgetting felt like the most reasonable explanation for everything you could not understand. I was there. I am here, I will remain. And what I have written for your life is still being written, still being carried forward, still moving toward the completion I determined before your story ever had a beginning on this earth. You did not stumble here today. I placed this moment in your path, and the same hands that arranged this moment are the ones still arranging every chapter ahead. You are held, still, completely. And that will never stop being true.